Narcotics deputies raided her home and found more than 2 pounds of meth. This search warrant states an informant saw meth inside the home within the past 48 hours. It mentions nothing about where the drugs may be located, but when deputies raided her home, they seemed to know exactly where to look.
And I'm looking, and they're just going straight to the back room. And they go, okay, it's right here, it's right here. And they pick me up and put cuffs on me.
Deputies went straight to a box in the back of Sandoval's home that contained the drugs. Years later, a series of text messages between Sandoval and the informant were discovered. They revealed the man had left the box at Sandoval's home before tipping off his BCSO handlers, proving he planted the drugs. The raid happened in October of 2017, but Sandoval's case wasn't dismissed until May of 2021. Several months after, information provided by Sandoval led to the overturning of convictions for 3 other people who were also set up by the same informant.
So I do feel that he did not act alone. I feel that, unfortunately, that the deputies were involved.
I mean, her life was completely ruined by this informant and the actions of Bexar County.
Last week, attorney Jason Jacob filed this civil lawsuit in federal court, alleging a conspiracy against Sandoval that violated her constitutional rights.
There appears to be some sort of conspiracy, if not with the planted drugs, for certain with the situation of not moving to dismiss these cases and instead to continue to prosecute a case, to hide the case from the public and to hide the case from any type of responsibility for these officers.
Well, the Bexar County District Attorney's Office highly publicized its Conviction Integrity Unit, helping to overturn the convictions of John Cape and Louis Garcia, and the dismissal of the case against Rexina Lanan Juarez, who died while waiting for her name to be cleared. Jacob says prosecutors continued to pressure Sandoval to take a deal.
And to threaten my client with 15 to life if she doesn't take the plea deal, even after the fact, that is wrongful prosecution. You can't take Ruby Sandoval and put her into a situation where you destroy her life and then just say, okay, well, sorry, and nothing happens to anybody? No, that's what attorneys are for.
The past 6 years has taken a heavy toll on Sandoval.
Well, I'm homeless.
And you think that's a direct result of all of this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know that employment's nearly impossible, because that's on my record still.
Since being set up, she's lost her home, her truck, and her job. But she hasn't lost the will to fight for justice.
They do this to people all the time. Unfortunately, I'm not the only one. I'm just the only one that was able to somehow rise above it. I just want to get my life back to where it was,
In her suit, Sandoval is asking for an unspecified amount of money in damages. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office did not respond to a request for comment on the lawsuit. But in our special last year, Sheriff Salazar denied any wrongdoing by his agency or his deputies and said no deputies had been disciplined in connection with the cases. While the informant has never been prosecuted for planting the drugs in these cases, he was convicted in March on drug possession charges in another case and was sentenced to 10 years.
We are just days away from the 1-year mark of the Robb Elementary tragedy. Throughout the past year, thousands of items have been donated to memorialize the lives stolen last May. Tonight, the night team's Lee Waldman met with a woman hired by the local library to archive it all.
It was, up to here, just stacked full of boxes and banners and just extended down this whole way.
There are still boxes of donations at the El Progreso Memorial Library that archivist Tammy Sinclair is sorting through.
So we have several items like this.
Since January, Sinclair has been working to archive all that was donated, making sure each item is carefully preserved, documented, and stored.
We cut and scored this extra material so that there would be a little more support at the head. And then so that they don't move around, we use the tissue for extra support.
Sinclair says all this is possible through a grant. They're in the process of digitizing everything as well so that people across the world can take part in remembering the Robb Elementary victims.
There will be a memorial and we'll work with committees and determine what's going to go there and what will stay here. Again, I'd like to digitize it all.
The flow of donations has been constant over the past 12 months. People all over wanting to honor the 21 angels. Sinclair says this is a labor of love.
It means a lot to me to do the work, and I hope that it means a lot to them and that I do justice for them.
These wooden cutouts and several other items will be taken from this room to what the library calls its tunnel of love. Everything will be on display here for the next week, so people will have a safe place to go and remember their names. In Uvalde, Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
And we will have live coverage from Uvalde throughout the day on May 24th to remember the victims and survivors of the Robb tragedy. Then at 9 p.m., make sure you see that we are airing our KSAT 12 News special, 1 Year in Uvalde. Now to a story we first brought you yesterday. San Antonio police say a 15-year-old that was shot in the chest at an apartment complex on Gardendale has now died. Officers got to the complex yesterday afternoon around 12:30 and found the teenager wounded. Investigators say it's unclear what led to the shooting, but say 2 juveniles were involved who had access to a gun. Detectives are still trying to determine if the shooting was accidental or intentional. The teen who died has not yet been identified.
San Antonio police investigating another shooting that happened on the west side during a party. Officers were called out to the 300 block of Scotty Drive just after 12:30 this morning. We're told people were standing outside of a home there when a group of males who were not invited to that party showed up. Investigators say one of the suspects caused a disturbance, then began shooting into a crowd of people. A 24-year-old woman was hit. She was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police say the suspect fled and still has not been caught. SAPD continuing to investigate. Still to come on the Nightbeat, the G7 summit wraps up with President Biden announcing more aid and F-16 fighter jet training for Ukrainian forces, the promise President Zelensky had to make for Biden to give his approval. And General Motors issuing a recall for 2 of its popular SUVs. We'll tell you which models are affected and the issue that could make it difficult to attach a car seat to those built-in tethering anchors.
And a local program making sure people with disabilities are not being overlooked when it comes to getting jobs, how the program works and how it's giving people more than employment.
Robb Elementary School has a long and significant history here in Uvalde, long before the tragedy of nearly a year ago.
There was a contest at the time that the school was being built as to for whom it should be named.
The school issue came up, we took advantage of that.
My best friend was out there walking and I did not know why. I did not understand.
People are still coming from everywhere.
Those stories and those memories in KSAT Explains, Monday at 6.
A 10-acre field of sunflowers is in bloom and open to the public at Traders Village Flea Market, a beautiful reminder of a father's love for his son. Brian Billick is the marketing director for the sunflower field. The idea first came to him as a way to memorialize his 13-year-old son, who lost his fight against osteosarcoma or bone cancer. After that, he contacted the landowners who loved the idea. More than 4 kinds of sunflowers now grow in the fields. Its maze is so huge that it has 6 checkpoints for people to rest. Billick gave a heartfelt response as to why sunflowers are important to him and his family.
Sarcoma cancer associates with sunflowers because sunflowers just bring hope into people's lives.
He goes on to say the flower patch became a popular location for celebrations like marriage proposals and big birthday celebrations. For tickets to visit the sunflower field yourself, we have a link on KSAT.com. Just find this story.
Good that the weather is cooperating with that this year. People living with a disability have a higher rate of unemployment. According to Workforce Solutions, it is double the national average. The agency now partnering with companies across Bexar County looking to hire talented team members regardless of physical or mental limitations.
One teenager living with a disability told the night team's Camilo Juarez his first job gave him a life-changing boost in confidence.
Were you ever able to go into the park and see some of the fun stuff there?
I get to see the penguins, like, you know, for the tours.
Yeah.
That was like the most fun part.
17-year-old Ty Barraclough's first ever job was scanning tickets at the entrance of SeaWorld last summer.
Thanks, Kenny. How are y'all today?
He says the work was hard at first, but his coworkers were quick to help.
Enjoy y'all stay.
I got used to it, so then,
yes, sir.
You know, basically, I just been on a roll.
He got the job through Workforce Solutions' Summer Earn and Learn program. People living with a disability ages 16 to 22 can apply. After working full-time for 5 weeks, Barraclough says he got more than a paycheck.
They gave me like a whole new experience, like job skills, life skills.
The program comes with on-the-job training and appropriate accommodations.
It's my first job here, so you know what, I have to, maintain my confidence.
Barraclough enjoyed his time with SeaWorld so much, he applied to work there again this summer.
We're excited to welcome you back for this next summer program, and we already have your name tag and uniform ready to go.
I feel excited.
What are you looking forward to?
More experience, job experience, so it can get me through life.
Now, there are 200 spots still available for the Summer Earn and Learn program, and applications are open now until June 30th. Camelia Juarez, KSAT 12 News.
Very neat.
Yeah, really great story. And SeaWorld will soon be a better option because the rain looks like it has subsided.
Yeah, I'm sure the water parks will be very busy in very near future.
Yeah, absolutely, because we're expecting the return of some sunshine, and then temperatures are going to warm up closer to where we should be for this time of year, especially after tomorrow. So first, let's get you a look at our KSAT 12-hour forecast, getting ready to prepare you for your Monday. And then what we're going to do is look at some rainfall totals from the past 48 hours, thanks to a couple of different rounds of rain and even some thunderstorms that we had move through portions of south central Texas. So tomorrow morning, low 60s expected by 7 a.m. here in San Antonio. A cooler than average start to the day, but because we do have saturated grounds in place, I think some areas of patchy fog will be possible first thing tomorrow morning. And then as we head into the late morning hours and through the lunchtime hour, that's going to break up. Still a few lingering clouds possible, but some more peaks of sunshine helping temperatures climb into the mid to upper 70s, around 78 by noon. And then mostly sunny skies are expected into the afternoon, helping those temperatures crank up into the mid 80s here in town. So yes, a bit warmer than the 70s that we topped off earlier this afternoon. But yes, over the past 48 hours, starting Friday night, as we saw that cold front work its way into south central Texas, we've had a few different rounds of rain and thunderstorms, still dropping much needed rainfall totals across the region. Here in San Antonio, over at the airport, just shy of half of an inch of rain, 0.22 in Kennedy, 2.15 inches in Pleasanton. Hondo, almost 3 inches of rain. Check out Lytle, just off to the southeast, over 3 inches. 0.8 at Stinson, 0.91 over in Converse on the east side of Bexar County. And check out some of these rainfall stats. Since May 1st, over 3 inches of rain have officially fallen over at SA International, which is the official climate site for us here in San Antonio. So we're doing pretty good in terms of where we should be for this time of the month. Since January 1st, that now brings our total to over 11 inches of rain for 2023. So pretty good news in the rainfall department. We are expecting a break in the rain, though, as we head into this upcoming work week. Just very slim, stray to isolated rain chances in the forecast, really Tuesday, Wednesday, and then into Thursday, we'll bump it up to just a 20% potential. And this is the reason why. So the little disturbance that brought us the on and off passing rounds of light to moderate rain today, that's already pushing east of our area, and that's going to continue to do so as we head into the upcoming week. And then approaching from the southwest, we get a high pressure system. It's going to start to move into the Lone Star State. So not only is that going to limit the rain chances, but it also also was going to help those temperatures crank up just a little bit more. So let's go ahead and look at the temperatures and the trend that we're expecting into the week. 69 right now here in San Antonio, 68 in Converse, 67 in Bulverde, 63 over the Los Maples area. Again, first thing tomorrow morning, we're expecting 60s for most. It's possible we find a couple of upper 50s across portions of the hill country northwest of San Antonio, 66 in Floresville, 62 in Uvalde to kickstart your Monday, and then temperatures climb into the 80s for most of us as we head into the afternoon hours. 83 in Helotes, 85 in Comfort, 85 in Sabinal as well. But check this out, Tuesday and into Wednesday, still expecting mostly sunny skies, but those temperatures crank back up into the upper 80s and low 90s. For context, our average high for this time of year is 88 degrees, so that is closer to the seasonal average, and that really is going to be the theme as well as we head into the second half of the work week and even into the upcoming weekend there too. And you can see here on your 7-day forecast, yes, we are expecting plenty of opportunities to find some more sunshine, so that is nice. We do get to take a little bit of a deep breath when it comes to the active weather pattern we've seen over the past few weeks, but this past weekend, yes, it was soggy at times, but those cooler than average temperatures were pretty nice, guys.
Loved the cooler temperatures.
Let's hope that big blue H doesn't decide to camp out all summer. All right, Larry, I'll have a preview of Instant Replay right after this. Coming off of count 'em, four straight losing season, the San Antonio Spurs got the boost they needed, winning the 2023 NBA Draft Lottery. Now the question is, who should they draft? Do we really ask that? Let's go to Larry. Why'd you make me ask that? We know
because, I mean, big, tall, 7'4" Frenchman, right?
But it couldn't be anybody else.
No, it couldn't be anybody else. Hopefully it's Victor Wembanyama, right? So the lottery balls were on the side of the Spurs, and Peter J. Holt did not hold back when his team won the lottery Tuesday night.
The second pick will be made by the Charlotte Hornets. And that means that the number one pick in the 2023 NBA draft goes to the San Antonio Spurs.
Love that reaction. Not only did Spurs managing partner Peter J. Holt celebrate loudly after the good news, but so did Spurs fans from private parties to the Brew Pub off 281 and 1604. Some even been honking on Commerce Street. Get ready for Wemby Mania.
Honestly, I just think we're clicking. Again, it's all heart right now. We're fighting as family, and we're hoping to make more history.
East Central softball is the real deal. They knocked out the defending Class 6A state champs O'Connor and will now prepare for the regional finals with a trip to state on the line, but they're not the only area softball team dreaming of winning it all.
Yeah, we won last year, but we want to prove to people that we can win again and that we can keep on winning. You know, we're not a one and done type of team, you know.
Forward Samuel Adeniran is back with SAFC, joining them on loan from St. Louis City SC nearly a month ago. Tonight we go one-on-one with Sam, a key member during SAFC's championship run 1 season ago. Plus, we've got the Gunslingers, the PGA Championship, NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs, Major League Baseball, and of course, more Wemby Mania tonight on Instant Replay.
Get in the car. We're going honking, Larry.
Let's do it. We're taking your car, though.
A little bit. No, your car's probably better.
I'm low on gas.
Oh, okay. The governor of Hawaii is praised for helping a driver in a car accident, how he and his team acted quickly to save someone in need. And in Kentucky, a weekend chore leaves a man dead and police looking for a motive.
And a mystery in New York, the bodies of two boys found in a river, where the investigation into their deaths now stands. Devastation out of New York tonight. Two boys reported missing last week were found dead in two separate rivers. New York police believe the 11 and 13-year-olds were friends and their deaths are connected. Their bodies were found 2 miles apart from one another. Their causes of deaths have not been released yet.
To Kentucky now, where a 24-year-old man is dead after being shot while just mowing a yard. The victim's uncle says his nephew was working in the yard when someone came up to him, pulled out a gun, and shot him in the stomach. The man, whose name has not been released yet, was taken to a hospital but didn't survive. Police now asking any witnesses in that area to come forward so they can catch the killer.
To Hawaii now, where the governor stepped into action after witnessing a car crash. Governor Josh Green and his team were on their way to an event Friday morning when they saw this accident. Green, who is also a doctor, helped smash the front windshield and pull the driver out of the car.
I mean, everyone really deserves credit for that more than me.
it's a small state, so we jump to. But we're honored to help people. And, be careful when you're out here driving because there's beautiful things to look at.
The governor said the man appeared to have some cuts and bruises, but didn't look to have significant injuries.
At least 12 people are dead and several others injured following a stampede in El Salvador. According to the National Civil Police, a stampede began on Saturday when fans tried to enter to watch a match between Alianza and FAS. About 90 people, including children, are being treated for injuries from that stampede. National Police and the Attorney General's office now investigating that incident.
In Italy, at least 14 people have died in floods that have been hitting the northern region of Emilia-Romagna. Over 36,000 people have been evacuated because of those floods. Cleanup operations now underway. Emergency services working to remove mud from washed out roads after landslides.
President Biden met with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky at the G7 summit in Japan and reaffirmed his support for Ukraine by announcing a new round of military aid.
Yeah, ABC's Tom Seafi-Borage has the latest on this new development, including what two leaders discussed when it came to the use of those F-16 fighter jets.
A show of support for Ukraine at the G7 summit in Hiroshima. President Biden with his arm around Ukrainian President Zelensky at a group photo, signifying the partnership between the two countries. Later at a meeting between the two leaders, Biden announcing another round of aid. The new $375 million package includes more ammunition, artillery and armoured vehicles.
Together with the entire G7, we have Ukraine's back.
My appreciations. We never forget. Thank you.
It comes after the US agreed to allow training on American-made F-16 fighter jets, laying the groundwork for their eventual transfer to Ukraine.
I have a flat assurance from Zelensky that they will not use it to go on and move into Russian geographic territory. But wherever Russian troops are within Ukraine in the area, they would be able to do that.
Biden adding the US would join allies in training Ukrainian pilots to use the F-16s. And after months of fighting, Russia claiming it now has full control of Bakhmut. President Zelensky denying that, but Ukrainian forces are now limited to a tiny area of that eastern city. But Ukraine launching a counter-offensive near Bakhmut, saying this video shows its forces storming Russian positions to the north of the city. The commander who led this operation telling me his troops outmaneuvered the Russians. Tom Seafi-Borage, ABC News, Kharkiv, Ukraine.
Also making world headlines, Rome's famous Trevi Fountain was the target of climate activists who dumped charcoal into the fountain. Take a look. Authorities say between 10 activists showed up at that site today, holding banners that read slogans, "Our country is dying," they said. Rome police say all of the activists were arrested and now face vandalism charges. The group has previously carried out two similar attacks. Rome's mayor called on the activists to stop targeting national and artistic monuments.
Well, the search is on for an auto vandal in British Columbia who scratched more than 400 vehicles at two different dealerships. Police estimate the damage at around 500,000 Canadian dollars, which is a little more than $370,000 in the U.S.
Also caught on camera, this in Omaha, Nebraska, a group of Good Samaritans jumping into action to save a motorcycle's life. Take a look. In this video, you can see a group of bystanders working with deputies to lift that car off of a man who was pinned underneath. Then you see a woman and a deputy pull out a motorcyclist. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office posting that video to Facebook because deputies are trying to find all of those people you see helping because they'd like to thank them for their bravery. I don't think we've seen that guy come. Oh, he did come out there.
Pulled him right out.
Crazy.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good Samaritans.
Earlier today, big news for SpaceX. Its second private astronaut mission for the International Space Station blasted off from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. On board the flight crew, along with 4 other passengers, 3 of them paying for the out-of-this-world trip. Crew members say they're in for a treat.
The first stage of the Falcon 9 is actually going to fly back and land a little south of the launch pad. So that's always a little exciting. So that's an opportunity to hear a sonic boom.
The mission was put together by the Houston-based company Axiom and is the second all-private mission sent to orbiting Outpost.
Wow. All right. Back here at home, going outside with live cam. Hopefully you enjoyed the cooler than average temperatures that we saw not only yesterday, but today as well. Temperatures right now actually in the upper 60s here in San Antonio, so not too bad out there. Let's take a look at the almanac data for this Sunday. 66 was the low, pretty seasonable for this time of year, but cooler than average earlier this afternoon. We had a daytime high of 73, well below the average of 88 and well below the record of 101 that was actually set last year. It was 76 in Pleasanton, 78 in Gonzales, 72 in Uvalde earlier this afternoon. Warming trend takes over tomorrow, and that will continue to be a big theme as we head into the upcoming work week with just very limited rain chances and more sunshine. We'll have another full look at the week ahead coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Mia. Several important recalls to tell you about, including one for parents who buckle their child's car seat into two specific SUVs. We'll be right back.